A game changer. An individual who alters the way things are done. They find ways to stand out with their actions and personality. Game changers switch things up and form new strategies and business plans to place them above the competition. Game changers do things differently, thus transforming the landscape. They are the heavy hitters, the risk takers, the creatives who are unafraid to try something new. And when the world turned upside down, they turned inward and got to work, creating new ways to present their music and their art to the world. That didn't mean they didn't face adversity. Game changers rise above it through financial challenges, health struggles, creative blocks. They rise and thrive. This is Black Widow. I am a house music recording artist, writer, and journalist. We go live and have a conversation with these game-changing individuals. I wanted to talk to game changers, pick their brains, and find out how they stay creative through it all while handling their business, growing their brands, and creating things for us to consume and enjoy. DJ, producer, remixer, boss. Born and raised in Chicago, Terry Hunter was introduced to music at an early age by his father, a DJ who played mostly soul and disco music at a Westside tavern. Since then, Terry Hunter has become a staple in the house music scene, both locally and worldwide, traveling around the world sharing his passion for house music. He is the Grammy-nominated producer and owner of Tease Box Records, Tease Crates, and the newest label, Mirrorball Recordings. Consistently working with some of the biggest names in the industry, you can hear his sound on songs by Aretha Franklin, Jennifer Hudson, Jill Scott, Raheem DeVaughn, Shantae Savage, Teresa Griffin, Avant, Brian McKnight, and many more. The list is endless. He continues to create and release music to critical acclaim and is now known around the world as the legendary Terry Hunter, a title well earned over his 30-year career. He is the recipient of an NAACP Image Award for his work with Aretha Franklin and was nominated for a Grammy Award for his production of the Jennifer Hudson's hit It's Your World. He is also a member of the world-renowned Chosen Few DJs. Despite the challenges of 2020, Terry Hunter pressed forward and continued to produce hits, earning him a spot on Traxsource Best of the Best in 2020. He is the epitome of a game changer, constantly creating and influencing the culture. Join me tonight as I enjoy a conversation with this game-changing artist, DJ Terry Hunter. All right, Terry Hunter, welcome to an episode of The Game Changers. I am here with DJ, label owner, Grammy-nominated producer, Terry Hunter. We're going to talk about what makes Terry Hunter a game changer. So first, I wanted to ask you about 2020. You know, we're ending the first quarter of 2021. Talk to me about the beginning of the pandemic versus the beginning of 2020 for you versus the end of 2020. What was that like as an artist and a creative?
It was crazy. So 2020, see, I'm so messed up. My years is crossed. 2020 is when we went into the pandemic, right?
Right.
Okay. Right. So I just remember we were planning everything for our Imagine No Music Festival. It was my birthday. I was turning 50. And I remember I just did a gig overseas, came back home, and then I did a gig in Charlotte, North Carolina, and then was home for like less than 24 hours and jumped on a plane and was hooking up everything for the festival in Dominican Republic. And of course, you was hearing all this stuff that was going around about the pandemic and, coronavirus and COVID and all of this. And so, we didn't take it serious. And then I just remember while we were in DR, that's when they was really starting to get things kind of tight. And we was almost to the point worried about our flight back to America. And so I still really, to be honest with you, didn't pay attention to it. And then that following week, we was in DR maybe 4 or 5 days. That following weekend, I had a gig in the UK with Bobby and Steve, Barbara Tucker, a couple of people. And in that week, that's when it was really getting bad. So it was to the point that they were saying, oh, well, if, you flying from America, you can come into the UK and do the gig and then fly back without not being quarantined. And I was like, nah, this ain't, we'll mess around and get stuck. And that was actually the last time I went to travel, which was in February for a gig.
Wow.
It's happened, like dates. And, of course, we've all heard the story. It's a year later. But, I just remember talking to my agent and all of April's gone. All of May is gone.
Right.
And in June, like, no Chosen Few. And then in between that, it was like, no Imagine No Music. And it was just sitting there scratching our heads like, what is this? You know what I mean? And so, we got into it. We switched. We jumped on the virtual thing. And, I started Sanitize Your Soul in April. And I just went on a streaming situation, man. But it was really hard for me in the beginning because I was in the house, never had to be stuck in the house. And it just started off like, I don't know what to do. You know what I mean? Didn't know what to do. So, everybody started jumping on the streaming thing. And obviously with Sanitize Your Soul, it took me about a month and a half to get on the ball with it because I just didn't want to go and stream for no reason. It had to be a purpose. And then some people may have heard me say it before, but then the first stream, we brought awareness to the Frankie Knuckles Foundation, raised money for that. We gave finally, and we're going to be having some stuff that come forth with that for everybody to see. We got Ron Hardy's marker. We was able to raise the money for that. And so that's what kind of just took it off from me,
Well, even before that, before you decided to do your Twitch show, you decided to do an IG series.
Yes.
Called that was just you talking to other creatives. It was not any music being played. You were just talking to other DJs, other producers, other artists about how we were all coping. Was that intentional because you were still trying to figure out what you wanted to do, like musically?
Yes, like that's crazy. And I totally forgot about that. And it really and truthfully, I think we need to bring that back because, and I didn't document it. I mean, obviously everything is still on IG, but I just think that, man, that should have been documented properly, but not really because thinking back on it, everybody was going to Instagram and just kind of doing it. You know what I mean? But what happened was from that, and you absolutely right, D, is I was like, what can I do? And it just hit me. It's just like Sanitize Your Soul. Like, it just hits me. And I was like, man, I know if I'm feeling this way, there is tons of my buddies and people that do what I do are absolutely feeling the same way or worse.
Right. And
the response, man, was overwhelming. Like I reached out to everybody and no one really told me no, you know, and the great part about it is what we wasn't used to was everybody was home.
Right.
So there was no scheduling conflicts. You know what I mean? It was like everybody was at the crib, so nobody really could tell you no. So man, we had on IG, we had, man, one of the better interviews that we did on there was David Morales. And I mean, shout out to him. He broke it down before it even hit America from what was going on in Italy about COVID.
Right.
He laid it out for us. And I'm telling you, he gave us play by play what was going to happen.
Yeah.
And that what happened in America when it hit here. And he told us, he said, y'all in for it.
Yeah.
And, he's living in
It's
Italy.
interesting because you're right. Every artist, no matter if you were making equipment, because I think you had somebody who worked for one of the companies that some of the equipment you have. If you were making music, if you were a DJ, if you were an artist, a singer, a songwriter, poet, everybody was going through kind of this initial shock. And especially people like you who do this is their livelihood. This is how I feed my family and pay my bills. To have all of that snatched,
literally.
That is a shock in itself. And like I said, I've covered a couple of different artists over different, mediums, and they always talk about that moment around March and April where they were just like, what the hell?
Like, we here.
And what do I do now to sustain myself? So I thought the wellness check was done at the perfect time when people were sitting around and maybe needed to talk and get it out. And then the fact that you did it on IG Live, that allowed the public to hear what, other creators were going through and kind of have that place to vent. I thought that was a great starting point that kind of into or gave birth to Sanitize Your Soul.
Yes, it did. And I don't know how I totally had a brain fog, but I think some of that stuff is not joking, is due to me and my family having COVID, and it's these fogs that you get that you just forget some. Like, so kudos to you for bringing it up. But yeah, wellness check, man, it was incredible. Like, we had, if we could really put that into production, that would be a hell of a show. We had David Morales, Moose T, Jazzy Jeff, all of the chosen few DJs. Who am I missing? Barbara Tucker, Julie McKnight. Who did you say? J.I. Yes, we did J.I. Like, it was just so many people that we had on the show that I looked at it about maybe 2 months ago and was just like, whoa. We had Kenny Dope on there. One of the funniest interviews, we had Marshall Jefferson on there. It's just crazy, man. So yeah, that time thinking about it, just to think about that right now, like we're in April, and man, that's crazy. It's been over a year. You know what I mean? Like, wow. And we've came like such a long way. If you look at what we've been doing in streaming and how the production of the streaming has kind of taken off. I remember we was all just trying to figure out, hey man, how do we get the clear sound? How do we don't get the sound from? And now we like got green screens and all of this stuff popping off. So, and
it literally started off with a tripod and a phone.
And a phone. Please believe it, man. So yeah, I tell you, it's been a gift and a curse, because we've I say a gift and a curse because it's been a lot of new fans or new participants in what we do by way of the stream, and we started some great relationships, and it's had some ups and downs with doing that. So it's a gift and a curse, but it's all good all the way around.
Now, when you decided to do Sanitize Your Soul and have kind of this weekly stream, did you expect for it to become what it is, where you just don't know who's gonna pop in the chat?
Right. Yeah.
Cole, Melba Moore, like, people are just, popping into the chat on a Thursday night. Did you expect it to grow like that?
No, because if you remember, we was on Facebook first, and we were trying to go between Facebook and then Instagram. We were still teetering with that. And it was just funny. Facebook started flagging us for all the records that we played. And then we was trying to get everybody over to Twitch, and then people didn't want to go to Twitch, and people were really engaging. Now everybody is just in Twitch and using the bits and the subs and the hype trains. And it was hard getting them there. You know what I mean? Right. And I remember me and Mike Dunn, we was having conversations because, a lot of stuff that we do internationally, we know what's going on. And so Mixcloud was coming in, and we was like, oh man, Mixcloud is about to take over, blah, 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 blah. and Mixcloud, I still broadcast from it every week,
Yeah.
but it's kind of fell flat because everybody has jumped on this Twitch
And the Twitch
situation. So it's I think Twitch is here to stay. I think that the streaming element of what we do is here to stay, even if we're traveling. And it's turned out with a lot of good. We've been able to have, you know, release parties, and we've been able to break new music, and you don't have that pressure. You've heard a lot of DJs say that is when you're streaming, you don't have that pressure of the dance floor. You don't have that. So you can really go out there and be daring and do what you want to do. And kind of, you know, we're doing this for the people, and it's also healing for us. And, you know, shout again, not to bring my brother up, David Morales, but hey, if you don't like what you're hearing, goodbye, leave.
Yeah, that's
really the bottom line of it. You know what I mean?
That's what he said. One of the things that separated your Twitch show, because, you know, now Twitch is bombarded with DJs, but you used your Twitch show, especially early on, for philanthropy. So it wasn't, this was before people were doing subscriptions and things of that nature. You guys started raising money for other causes. So what kind of drove you to do that when you're the artist who has lost all your income and yet chooses to create a live stream to benefit others?
I have been known and told by close friends, my family, my wife, is that sometimes I do a little too much. And I think a lot of us can be at fault for doing that. And I really just, that it comes from my upbringing with my grandparents. Like I am a split image of my grandparents. And what I mean by that is my grandmother was the most loving, most caring, most giving person ever. And she was the leader of our family. Mm-hmm. And she took me in. My mother had me at a very young age. And I didn't know any difference. I didn't know them as grandparents. You know what I mean? So my grandfather was the total opposite. And what I mean by total opposite, he was a loving, caring dude, but he was a street dude.
Right.
He didn't take no shit. You know what I mean? Like, so he would give you his last, but if you mess with him or if you screw him, he in it. So
was he a Leo?
They both, which is funny. My grandparents, they both Libras. Their birthday was on the same day in October. So it was just, I was a perfect mold of them. And so that was the thing when everybody was streaming. I'm watching. I remember, it's so funny. I told this story in an interview about a month ago, is that D-Nice went on, right? Mm-hmm. And then D-Nice was like, oh, what up, my boy Terry Hunter, what up? Oh, man, da-da-da-da. He was like, yo, let me bring you in. Let's play a joint or something. Let's play. I was like, yo, I'm driving. I can't really get on. I'm driving in the car. I was like, but yo, if you still on, I'll hit you when I get to the crib. Yo, second week. Oh, shout to my man, the legend Terry Hunter in the building, Chicago. Boom. Third week. What up, T? A month later, Oprah, Halle Berry, Denzel. Oh, the president. Right. Oh, Michelle. And I'm like, yo, what up, D?
Crickets.
Yo, D, what up? He ain't shouting me out. So, it's just funny how this pandemic, man. He caught lightning in the bottle, man, with that. Yeah. And so again, I was watching him. I started seeing people do it, and I was just like, nah, I want to do something else. Like I don't want to just do it. I felt terrible, like, because people were out there messed up, and like you said, including us. Mm-hmm. But I wasn't thinking about me, and so having conversations with Wayne and Alan, and shout out to Frederick Dunson that runs the Frankie Knuckle Foundation. Me and Mike having tons of conversations, just trying to figure it out. Like, you know what I mean? Like I was just trying to figure it out, but I know I didn't want to pop up and do a stream just for selfish, purposes. Like I was like, nah, I want to do this. And it was dope because it led, like I said, from that, we raised awareness for the Frankie Knuckles Foundation. We finally got Ron Hardy his marker. The grave is there now. We got together with Josephine's Southern Cooking on 79th Street in Chicago. I keep messing up the name. Is Josephine? Is it Southern Cooking? The restaurant. Y'all know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, on 79th off of King Drive. Yeah.
In Chicago, for those that's not in Chicago, it's on the South Side. But we fed 200 seniors during the pandemic, just from the stream, having people donate. And we did it not once, but we did it twice. And so that feeling, man, like I felt incredible. You know what I mean? To be able to provide music to feed people that was in need through house music. So again, man, that's just what I'm about. I'm a giving person, and you know, all praises and props due to my grandparents for instilling that in me at a young age.
You was raised right, as my mom.
Raised right, I think. Right. Yeah.
Well, I wanted to talk to you. In the middle, you have your Twitch show now. I think at the same time, you were still doing the wellness check every now and then. We had some other things going on. You also are back. We're back to releasing music.
Yes.
Was there a break at some point where it was like, I don't feel like going into the studio, or was it a push to go to the studio even harder?
Listen, it was a massive break. I shut down. I didn't put music out. I didn't care to make music. Every time I sat at the computer, nothing came. I wasn't motivated. I wasn't inspired. Every project that I had stopped. Like I was like, whatever, you know what I mean? And it kicked in. It finally kicked in like, all right, we're going to be here for a while. All right, it's time to turn those creative juices on. And it was just step by step, me listening to a lot of stuff. Mike had a really great year, and just looking at what he was doing and what he was putting out, looking at what Jeff was doing in the studio. He wasn't putting the music out, but excuse me, he was cataloging so many tracks that he was doing, and just kind of having that back and forth with everybody on the phone. It finally clicked, you know what I mean? It finally clicked, and then I started getting into making music, and then it took off, and we're still here right now. So we've been burning both ends of the candles, if you will.
Right. Well, let's talk about the year 2020 musically and some of the productions. Now, you have two labels,
3,
Mirrorball and Teasbox. Can you tell people what the difference is between the two?
Right. So it's 3 labels. So it's Teasbox, Tease Crates, and Mirrorball Records. Yeah. And so Teasbox is like the label that everybody knows. It's the flagship. It's the mother label. I started, there you go, represent. I started Teasbox. The reason for that was just us as traveling DJs. I wanted to produce records or sign records that I will put in my record box and play. Because again, we were traveling all over the world. So we had record boxes, and it was 2 or 3 of them you had, because when we was traveling, you couldn't have 2 more unless you was paying for all that excess baggage.
Okay.
So that was the whole concept of Teasbox, was I wanted to create a label with the record that I know for sure that will go in that box, and I will play it, and other DJs will play it. And that consisted of a lot of songs, a lot of soulful, very musical, melody-driven type of records, and even instrumentals. And then Tease Crates was more of the track version of Teasbox. Because really in Chicago, we used to put our records in crates.
Yeah.
So that's how Tease Crates came about, from Teasbox. But that was more the stripped down, more of the raw sample bass type of stuff, dubby kind of tracks. Okay. And then just last year, I started Mirrorball, and what the plan, and it still is the plan for Mirrorball, is that I just wanted to touch on everything that was kind of heavy driven with live musicians, just musicianships all over these records. And we did that with the Eric Roberson record that me and James Poyser did. Obviously, the Melba Moore. We signed the Horns to House, which was live streams through that. But I also wanted to touch on a lot of the 90s and 80s type of stuff, also R&B. And for those that of you that don't know, I put out a record with Shantae Savage and Shauna. That was an R&B hip hop record that's on Mirrorball as well. So I'm really just trying to put a lot of those influences that's really in R&B, 80s, 90s dance, very musical, musicianship heavy type of songs for Mirrorball.
For Mirrorball.
Yeah.
Well, talk to me about, because I thought it was very interesting, the variety of music that came out from your camp, not including myself, but you even from Shantae Savage and what I would call a protest record that was very indicative to how we were all feeling with everything that was going on, you know, in the nation, to heavy dance records, to working with artists that we may not have thought of as house, like Melba Moore, like Brian McKnight, like Avant. What is this process of just kind of gathering these musicians and these creatives from all these different elements, and putting together music that we all can dance to? It's really a testament in making music being universal and not so genre specific.
Yeah. Like, so I heard like 4 or 5 questions in there. So really what's I mean, it was a lot because I was finna go all over the place with it. But so what's the specific question?
Just what is it like working with artists? You know, and you've told me this before, like good music is good music. Like you're not somebody who likes to stick in certain categories. So you've been able to this year to work with a variety of artists, all under this umbrella of house, including artists that are not considered house. So that's the process of gathering musicians and other creatives that aren't necessarily part of this genre. Megan McNeil would come to mind as well. What has that process been like for you creatively?
I think it's been super dope. I mean, this is the one thing, and I go on record by saying this, and I've said it a million times, man. It's not all me. I can't take the credit for all of that, and I will not take all the credit for it. Is that I feel like right now, the team is mean. Everybody plays their part. And I mean, just all the way up to, you know, shout out to Wayne for his ear of having a great ear with A&R Records and be able to hear records, and having his relationships to be able to bring certain situations to the table. I got to shout out EMAC for taking the load on with running the label, but also being an engineer. Like, I'm doing an interview right now. Y'all can't see this, but my brother over here, Mike Dunn, is making sure that my studio computer is where it's supposed to be for me to keep making records. So it's a team, man. It's like, I don't want to sound cocky, but I'll put this team that we got against anyone in the world. And that's not being big-headed or whatever, but like, yo, look at, he does what he do. Wayne does what he do. You do what you do. Mike does what he do.
Yeah.
Terry does what he does.
Yeah.
But we're a family. And so I see, it pisses me off because I see so many artists and so many, whoever you are and what you do, if you're a producer, a DJ, and it's all, you just want the attention. You just want the attention. No, man, somebody else doing something somewhere. To the point, you know, with the agents that's booking the gigs, and, you know, it's just everybody plays their part. And so I just really focus on the team. The team is mean. You know what I mean? And so when we need to come together to do what we got to do, I mean,
it gets done.
We might have to bleep this out, but who fucking with us?
I ain't bleeping that out.
That's not being cocky. It's just the truth. You know what I mean?
But it's hard work.
And I love the team. And you know what? The one thing I love about it too is that you got to go through so many different people to get that team. It's just like with this. Like, people don't know this, and we're gonna say it here. I have an album. I've been signed to Ultra Records, right? For a year and some change, more than a year and some change. And we were really supposed to go hard with my album, but the pandemic hit. And so they didn't know how to play our records. Really, we didn't know what we were doing. We couldn't agree on certain things. And finally that's going. But like, shout out to Alan King. He was my attorney and my legal representation for that album. Right. And now because of certain things went on, we able to, hey, we either do something or let us go. And so I'm happy with it. The album's coming. We might have a single in the next month or two, finally, and then we get to the album. So it just goes back again to the team. It just goes back to the team, you know, and especially with Chosen Few, like that is just a real brotherhood. When any of us down, we there to pick it up. You know what I mean? And so I salute.
And you guys have been dominating on Twitch, quite frankly, as far as the weekday, and literally cross promoting one another's shows and literally sharing the audience, for lack of a better word. You know what I mean? So it's been really cool to see the virtual support between all of you guys, and a testament to seeing all of your individual brands grow.
Absolutely.
As a result, you know, of not being so ego-based where it's all just about me. So that's a side note. But you had mentioned your upcoming album, and I wanted to talk about it because it really is now an umbrella of its own, the Imagino Music Project, and that includes an album, merchandise, and a festival. So can you kind of give me an overview of where Imagino Music, how that was birthed?
So before I signed my deal to Ultra, I wanted to do an album, and again, I just don't like to do stuff just to do it. Like, basically, we're in a time to where people are putting out records, and they'll put 10 records on there and say that's an album. And I really didn't want to do that. I wanted to have a vision for it, a direction for it, if you will. And Imagino Music, I don't know how I came up with it, but it just hit me. And so that was the brand, and I just wanted to put out there. Long before I started on the album, I was just pushing Imagino Music. And then I had an opportunity. I do a radio show every Friday on housefm.net. And the guys from the UK, Bobby and Steve, shout to them, Mikey, approached me with doing my own show right after Louis. And I was like, well, shit, let's call it Imagino Music Radio Show. And then it went from there. And then obviously that's what I named the album. So it was just about pushing that brand. And man, shout to just this pandemic, I was really able to launch, like you said, the Imagino Music merch. Right. And so right now, you know, we have the Imagino Music, we have the Sanitize Your Soul, but just recently we just launched Imagino Racism. And that shirt is seemed to be causing a lot of attention, and so I'm just happy it has made us be creative in other ways and to do different things that we didn't have time to do before. And so it's been again a gift and a curse.
We'll talk about the Imagino Music Festival. It was originally scheduled to kick off your birthday celebration last year. What is the status of the festival?
So right now, first of all, we want to be 100% safe. And the other part about it is that the festival was supposed to happen last year on my birthday. Obviously, again, we got shut down due to the pandemic, but we were hoping things will be fully open. But right now, we have no control what the Dominican Republic does. They can say, hey, it's cool now. When it comes July, shut the country back down. We just don't know. So the vaccinations in that country are not going as high as what's going on in America. And so I just feel it's a safe decision, us looking out for everybody to say, let's wait to 2022 when we know we're going to be back 100% full on. Because even if we can go, like we can go to the Dominican Republic, but everything is going to be 50 people, 40 people, 25 people. Like, the idea of having that festival, the way I wanted to do it, is not for just 50 people. You know what I mean? So let's wait 2022. Let's go full steam ahead. And we're going to be back. Like 100%, we're going to be back in 2022.
Now, I want us to talk to you just personally. 2020 is one thing financially to go through all kinds of issues and ups and downs, but you and my son as well, we actually have had COVID. We've had family members, your family. What did that do to you as far as how you approach life now? Did it alter some things? Did it change your perspective on some things? What were the lessons that you learned after going through that?
Live life, period. Live life, because I'm telling you, I thought my life was over. Like, I thought it was a wrap. In my head, mentally, hearing so many people, I thought it was over. And so to come back, to be able to have a second chance, like, this COVID shit is real, period. You know what I'm saying? And so just to see where I came from, like the struggles I had at night trying to figure out, man, can I beat this? Is my affairs in order? What's going to happen with my family? Because my son had it and my wife had it. Like, if I go, what happened? Like, it was just so much distortion in my head and in the way I felt. We dealt with that. And it was during the worst times too, because I started getting sick right after Thanksgiving, and it led all the way through until after the New Year. So I had a crazy Thanksgiving.
Wanted to have Thanksgiving redo.
Oh, absolutely. Because we normally have Thanksgiving at our house. My family comes over, and it was just the four of us, and that was just like weird in itself. Like, every year since I've been in this earth for 50 years, that it was with family. And so that was like, I was like, yo, what is going on? And then to go into December, go into Christmas, go into New Year's, like, so live life. That's what I got a second chance, and we ain't slowed down. We ain't slowed down, and I'm not slowing down. And it's an old saying, you sleep when you're dead. But I really believe that when it comes to work and just living life, and everything ain't about work, but just living life, you know what I mean? And so that's just how I feel. Like, I want to take every opportunity. I want to do everything that I can do. Like, I'm tired of being in this house. I want to go back out. I want to get on a plane. I want to walk up to a hotel, and the receptionist said, "Hello, Mr. Hunt, how are you? Can I have your passport, please?" Okay, I give them my passport. The elevators is down the hall to the right. Your room 702, breakfast is served between 6 and 10 a.m. You have 24-hour room service. And then just like, yo, that, I missed that. You know what I'm saying? Like, man. So, it's just taught me to now appreciate life, to live life. So when I get back on this road, when I get back on this plane, when I'm in front of these gigs, when I'm in this studio and I have these opportunities, it's not going to go unnoticed with me. You know what I mean?
I do. I think for me, it was to take more risk.
Yeah.
There are some things that I did this year that I would have never done, and I've told people this. I don't think I would have made a video this year. I don't think I would have had the guts to even think I could do it. So actually doing things that continue to kind of take me outside of my box, because why not? That was kind of the approach after the initial kind of shock was to, if you think it, why not put it, and I think I've run some ideas past you and you're like, go with it, do it, do it. I think that was kind of, once creatives kind of got past that kind of jerked reaction, the wheels started turning. And people have been able to thrive in the midst of all of this. And it may not be a financial gain, but I know your brands have all been elevated as a result of the way you have kind of done things simultaneously with putting out music and building, your regular show. And it has been fun. It's been fun to have, it was enjoyable to enjoy the virtual listening party with Brian McKnight. It's been fun to launch new music and have the artists come in and kind of interact with their audience. And it's been nice to see you guys in just the DJ world, not just you guys in the chosen few, but you, Immaculate, everybody kind of introducing new DJs and new talent that we may not have heard. So when out does open up, for instance, Sneak would be a perfect example of somebody that I wasn't familiar with until you guys did your show. And you guys are getting ready to celebrate your 1-year anniversary with him. And we're all excited because we got to hear you guys in Austin. So I think you're right. There have been some great things, some great revelations as a result of this year, but also some hard lessons as well. Would you agree?
Oh, absolutely. It's just like you said, everything you said, man, I echo that because again, you know, I was turned on. I just remember last year, like us DJs know, because, you know, the ones that travel and get out. But I just remember hearing Natasha Diggs for the first time. And I was like, yo,
yeah,
I got to introduce my people. And then I started asking some of my people, like, yo, you familiar with Natasha Diggs? And he's like, no. And so I look at the leaps and bounds that she has made in the past year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so that's what it's about. I mean, I look at all the people that, you know, that Wayne has his monthly show, my show, Mike's show, E's show, just all the different guests and some of the people that are, you know, that are homegrown Chicago heroes that no one knows outside of Chicago, and we're shedding light on them with our platform. So I just think, I believe this streaming stuff, man, it's here to stay. It's not going anywhere. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So it's just been one of those things that where it's either you came out of this on top, or you still laying down in the bed, scratching your head, trying to figure it out. You know, I was there and I'm sorry for you, but I think if you don't get up out of that bed or couch or scratching your head, when we come back around, there's going to be some new sheriffs in town.
Yeah.
And
I remember you said it was like, you know, the playing field was leveled.
Oh, it was leveled.
2020.
Sure. Everybody was a damn bedroom DJ.
And it was really what you know, we've kind of talked before about, you know, the criticisms, the say, you know, people say this, that, and the other, but everybody had an opportunity at this point to create, build, and bring people their way. And the difference between those that did and didn't are what I would call game changers. The people that didn't just do a Twitch show or didn't just do a regular weekly music show, but did something and offered an experience that was different. Now that we have all these options on Twitch and these other platforms, that brought the people in. So,
like we were speaking earlier, like let's just take for instance, right? For all of you purist all the way around, because let me explain something to you. I can say this, right? Because I've come from carrying records. I come from putting those records and on a plane, and we're flying 8 to 10 hours, hoping that our record's made into our final destination. People don't realize that. Then you have to go to record stores when you're in certain countries or certain cities when you travel and go buy some records to get you through that set, or use the DJ records that was playing before you to help you out and all of this. And you got some of these funky ass purists, I can't stand y'all, that you get on and you act like you can say that you are the changing of the guard to say who's real and who's not real. And with that is that 99.9% of them are sitting at home and ain't doing shit. So all you funky ass purists out there, I don't care. You can never support me or come on my stream, but you're going to be sitting your funky ass right in that seat on Facebook, typing in whatever you typing, and you ain't doing shit. I don't care if you don't support me. I got enough support from people and my family. So with that being said, is that to go on that question, I got to salute my brother, Dion Cole. Was he a DJ 5 years ago? Was he a DJ 10 years ago?
Right.
Absolutely not. But none of them funky purist people that's talking shit online have not realized that no, he's not. He doesn't claim to be. And he loves house music. He's from the city of Chicago, right? Yeah. but you're gonna get around and say, oh, he ain't this and that and use that. Well, what the fuck are you doing?
Right.
That's my whole thing. And so guess what he's done though?
Right.
More than these funky ass purists that's get on here and talk shit. He has opened up his millions of followers to music that they now love that they probably didn't know existed.
That is so true.
And I don't see none of these purists doing that. I don't see none of these snobby ass people turning anybody on except they group of 4 or 5 people. They get online, they try to make a party on Twitch. Goddamn 6 people. Get out of here. But this man is using this platform. He got thousands of people every week and is shouting out producers. He's showing them love, shouting out the artists, shouting out the remixes, all of that. That has took house music that we love to people and moved it to people that never knew about it. So I gotta salute it, man.
He showed respect for, I interviewed Dion and his love and respect for not just the music, the culture, but for DJs.
Yes.
He was very, very clear. And you've been able to see, you can say what you want. You've been able to see the growth. You've been able to see the changes in the music selection. And I have seen people, he's played my song and people have been like, oh, what's that? What's that? There is no way I could have ever thought as an artist that Deon Cole would be playing my music. But at the same time, if you know Deon from here, I have seen him on the dance floor where he's not Deon Cole. He's just Deon enjoying him some house music. So I completely co-sign everything you said. It's been ridiculous, but
I just have a problem with these people keeping it real. Like he's a game changer. I mean, I just looked at this stuff before. We did a video for Chuck Roberts in the beginning. He was in Chicago. He like, where y'all at? I'm gonna pull up. We did a video called We Are One. He was in town, had a meeting for something. He said, where you at? He's always supported. And so that's the thing that it's a game changer. And again, I'm not sound like the bitter old guy because I ain't old and I'm damn sure ain't bitter. But you funky ass purists thinking you know everything ass people on there that's been doing it talking smack. Fuck y'all. And that's just how I feel.
That is the Terry Hunter. I know that is the Leo. The lion came out for those that don't think. Everyone is always like, Terry Hunter is a teddy bear. And I'm like, Terry Hunter is a beast. Like
that's just real, man. I'm sorry.
That is the lion. They love you, but then they are ready if you come in correct. So be ready for real and raw. No filter.
None.
I appreciate you, obviously talking to me and sitting down with me, but I really thought it was important for this particular series to highlight people that aren't just doing things the same way. You have impacted the culture. You have changed the musical landscape. You have a billboard in the middle of freaking Times Square.
Come on, y'all. Listen, let me tell you something. I just got to give shout to SRG, Claude, and Brian McKnight. Some of you guys may not know or may know I had the opportunity to remix 5 records for him, which came out on. It's out now. So go get it. Go stream it. Go buy it. Go pick it up. But it's on SRG Universal. And it didn't hit me till after when we did the listening party. And he was just like, man, it took you to get me a billboard in Times Square. I ain't never had no billboard in Times Square. And that didn't resonate with me until like 4 hours after. And I'm just like, man, won't he do it? Won't he do it? So
won't he will?
Shout out to Brian McKnight, man, and for letting me touch his stuff. And you was on the interview. He doesn't give people his vocals out. He's never done a house official remix before.
Right.
So, we God is good, man. God is good.
Yeah.
About the team is the squad.
I'm gonna agree with you there. I think you have an amazing team. But we work hard. We work hard.
I mean, my thing is this, this is your platform right now, but I mean, look at what you talk to the vice president. Come on, man. You went from rough
Right.
Hey, Mike, she went from rough to talking to the vice president to Love Manifesto, man. So you doing amazing things, and you took that situation and you made it work, and it's growing, and people don't understand that you're the host of Sanitize Your Soul, and you handling a lot of the stuff that's for the Imagine No Music Festival. And so, man, like I said, the team is me. Salute to you.
I appreciate that, but I hadn't thought about it like that, from rough to common.
Yeah. Mike made you nasty.
Right. Who would have thought it?
No, Danny, yeah, say that. That's what they want to hear. No, yeah. He said, "Hey, how when it was already done." But it motivated you to do that track. Everybody, Mike Dunn this here. I'm talking to Mike Dunn. So y'all think I'm crazy. Yeah, that's how we do.
Yeah, just like that. But what do we always say? Everything upward.
And you know what the whole thing about it? I want to point on something that you said about, because again, we're not making any money for this, but we are planting our seeds, and they will harvest in a way.
That's it.
I am claiming it. For everybody on this team and beyond that has planted their seeds, it is time to harvest. And I believe in my heart, starting in 2021, it's finna start harvesting. 2022, it's on and popping, baby.
Yeah,
so understand, all this hard work will not be in vain. Trust and believe. I'm putting it out there and I'm saying it. So guess what? Again, let this be a motivation to people that's just still trying to figure it out. You better get with a team. Get on somebody's team and get that support system going,
The best is yet to come. It's a lot of irons in the fire right now. It's a lot of good stuff cooking behind the scenes. So
absolutely.
You'll hear about soon.
Can I ask you a question?
Uh-oh.
What do we have going on in the background? Mike pointed it out to me, but what we have? Tito's, we have Snoop Doggy Dogg, we have High Heel Shoe. So
it's booked.
Are you a bartender, or are you
this is the right
drinker, or are you let's tell us about that. What is all of this stuff?
This is the Writer's Corner.
Okay.
Finish, all of my journals and books over here where I might enjoy a glass, looks
like some bottles more than glasses, but
well, some of these were gifts.
I just wanted to know and let the people, they want to know what you're working with, so okay.
Yeah, some of the bigger bottles were gifts, and then the others,
Okay.
Sometimes I need a little inspiration. So
I think my inspiration is going to be, I'm going to watch a little. I'm going to watch a little Wizard of Oz. I want to see the flying monkeys, baby.
I couldn't help it.
It's sleepy. Trying to cut the interview.
Mikey said he gets sleepy. It's time to cut the interview.
And just like that, we had to end that interview. That was an insider. I cannot thank everyone for joining me today for another edition of The Game Changers. Terry Hunter, thank you so much for sitting down and talking to me. I hope you guys enjoyed today's show. As always, follow me on Twitch at Danny, aka Black Widow, and catch the replay on YouTube at my YouTube channel. I am The Black Widow on YouTube. So we will see you guys next time. Make sure you subscribe so you get a notification every time I go live. Take care, everybody. See you next time.